I'm going to talk about what this travel palette is, why I made it, and what I hoped it would do. This travel palette is a piece of folder with several dots of watercolor paint in different colors. What you would do with it is go out into the field, rehydrate with a water brush, and paint with it. The reason I decided to make it is because before the pandemic, I was having a pretty good practice of sketching out in the world. I just pulled over to the side of the road. This one is fancy to me because it's Wales, which is far from local for us. And it may be just as valuable to be choosing which blue is the closest to each bit of something you're seeing. Kind of a reset for your brain, a small discipline observation available to you all the time. During the pandemic, I've been just working at home and not working on my art at home, which has been amazing, and I'm super grateful for it. But as we've kind of learned how we can be in public still, I've been having an amazingly hard time going back to making art in public. So this is actually the most successful way I've found of making things. It's using the water brush with ink, and then while the ink is still wet, using it to create a wash. It's just extremely compact and easy to do, and I guess the tools are the same as writing, and I'm used to jotting something down in public, so it doesn't really trigger the part of me that feels like it's too much to work to get out a palette. So having made my travel palette, I actually think it was super useful to me just to like dig through my old watercolors and see see how they perform on different papers, get kind of used to them again. Watercolor doesn't really speak to my heart, so I don't really use these when I have access to unlimited time and space to dry things and all the rest of my materials. They're way more for adding color to things on the go. And I think maybe the real solution to that is watercolor pencils. Watercolor pencils. However, having made my little travel palette, I took it to the beach and I really had to force myself to get this out of my backpack. And it really helped that I was also going to swim, and the air and water were both about 50 degrees. So I used everything I had to get myself to just open my little sketchbook and get out my water brush and wet my paints and look at the water and try and transpose that onto the page. If you're local, this is a kite surfing beach. So I actually could have probably chosen somewhere cleverer, less windy and more protected. I grabbed this binder clip after that experience because the pages were just going crazy, which made it really hard. Yeah, so next I think I'm going to mainly go back to things like ink and pencils, and then in the fullness of time I can add colors back into my practice.